What's up, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and welcome to a very short Walking the Walk for the Mafia 3 trailer called The Heist. I'm asked to do these all the time and almost never get to do it. I think the last one I did was No Man's Sky. I'm going to try to do this on these larger titles, and especially if the company's really making a big deal about their trailers. This isn't about negativity. There will be some possible criticism in it, or there'll be aspects that I look at and I point out look different in different parts of the game. It's nothing other than to take a look at the game and identify if it sort of is going to holistically end up giving us a reflection of what we're seeing in these trailers. And it's something to compare to, and I think that that's nice. From a technical aspect, I actually really like this camera shot here because basically, using that depth of field but having sort of an elliptical area allows you to see not only the cigarette but the one dropping. They've got a really unique depth of field there. It's almost like a horizontal depth of field, and then you see the cigarette roll into it sort of, and then the foot crush it down. I love the fact we're at a point where so many different developers are sort of adjusting their camera and film styles, their fake film, like what film is it used on, and you can do all of these effects to make it look different. I talked about it in my Walking the Walk for Fallout 4 where they chose a particular color palette, and here the thing I'm noticing is this really almost clean look, unless again it's a flashback or something. There's this clean feel to the title, and it does remind me of GTA 5 at times. But even looking back on their trailers, there's something very different about the look of this game. And of course, everybody fakes camera lenses that they use and what kind of film stock that they use. But there's just something that artistically really speaks to me about this game, and I'm not 100% sure why. And this is easily my favorite moment of the trailer, right at the starting. It shows the indecisions humans work with. A lot of times in game cutscenes, developers have characters go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually not how humans work. You see the indecision here, you see the hand fiddling, and then the looking away, walking away as if they're going to do something, and then turning back and being like, you know what, I just want my donut, and giving it back to them. Humans go 1, 3, 4, 2. That's the way we are. We're chaos machines. We don't do everything in a particular order, and I love that. Also, there's one thing I noticed here, and I don't know if you guys have, but I'm going to play it through slow motion so you can see it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a chance that Mafia involves vampires without reflections. I think as we move forward, it's always interesting to see how these companies use their in-game models versus their cutscene models and what changes there are. Here, we see for the most part in some cutscenes, there's definitely a higher level of detail going on, but in others there isn't. And so it'll be interesting to see exactly if the cutscenes in between levels do something specific and have a higher level of detail, especially like, let's say, on the old man's face that's coming up here. That's pretty normal. That's status quo, unless, of course, it's filmed differently. But ultimately, we see probably a difference between major cutscenes and minimalistic ones like this one here. And I love this look this guy gives. It's like, I am the devil. He's like, evil, most definitely. Now, it intersperses to some different action that we get to see. Obviously, these, cutscene moments that are also fairly reflective of the actions that you'll be able to take within the game. Let's repeat this. Something that I'm always impressed with, and I talk about this in a lot of videos, is when somebody technically gets it right when it comes to collision detection. Of course, this is a cutscene, so there's a little bit of adjusting that they can do, but I think what we're seeing here is most likely just a really good attention to detail in their engine for collision detection and clipping, and I love that. It looks so good. It looks like everything connects and touches one another. You really can't sell your fiction. You just can't if the characters look like they're floating over the top of everything. And here in a second, we're going to see a street party, and there's going to be multiple characters together, and there's only one small mistake with a guy's bag and the sling over the top of his shoulder. And while I'm the first to say, hey, trailers are not indicative of the final gameplay, absolutely, in the end, we are still seeing a good attention to detail here, and I think knowing their past, we can probably assume it'll look like that in the game. I think the one thing I noticed here is the lighting engine. Whether you're in the cutscene or you're in the game cutscenes or you're in the gameplay, the attention to shadow detail is actually really well done, and there isn't a lot of dithering. Again, this is, of course, the PC version, but that shadow dithering, the dimpled little shadows that we see in so many other games, doesn't seem to be really prevalent here. Now, that doesn't mean much. We see some self-shadowing as well, which is nice. This area in Mardi Gras, I'm going to slow that down, repeat this right here. Now, if we look at the difference in shadow between the two, there is something within the city that seems a little off to me, and I'd like to know what you guys think. That section looks good there, but we get an almost Dead Rising look here, and it looks like there's a flatness to this area. It's like it doesn't pop as much compared to the other places, which is, again, why I think that there's a subtle shift going on between the major cutscenes and these minor cutscenes, because this looks awesome, people doing different things, like the coloring and so forth. It just, like I said, looks flat. Once again, evil face. I love the water, the look right there. And of course, let's take a look at this car section over again in slow motion. Almost instantly, I noticed that it looks like the smoke interacts with the waves, and that particulate of smoke actually goes in and out of the different height of those waves, which is actually really impressive. We don't see that a lot of times. A lot of times, in fact, many games end up stumbling a little bit when different effects don't really touch one another, and it breaks that immersion. You can see that, and you're like, it looks like the smoke is just above the water kind of thing. It doesn't really interact. It doesn't go between waves, especially larger waves, if it can. But there you actually see that, and it looks like the smoke is actually curling into the trough that the boat creates. Now, rarely do I jump into the true story moments of these unless I really know a lot about the game, but the one thing I noticed right away when I was watching this trailer is the white guy turns around, but he doesn't aim at the boat at all. And I don't know if that's a story moment or an issue with his skeleton in the cutscene, but there are moments when you see that it looks like he's not shooting at that boat at all, which I don't know if that sort of plays into the heist aspect, and maybe he is working on the team of the people chasing him. I'm not quite sure. It could just be something that's technical, but you know what? When you have a chance to look at these trailers over and over, you notice those weird little oddities like that. But it could also just be the way it was cut at that time. So let's look at the car scene for a second. I really dig this car scene. It's the GTA style zoom in right into the action. I think the first thing you notice, of course, is when that car hits them, obviously doesn't deform at all. Either one of them do. And especially at that kind of hit, you would see a pretty easily noticeable deformation on both of the cars. So it'll be interesting to see if why that isn't in the cutscene if it's in the game, because I do believe that's in the game. Another thing I noticed, and it just sort of surprised me, is that you don't see any particulate come off of the mud puddles that they drive through, which seemed odd to me because that's in a ton of games. So I don't know, when you see these kind of differences in a trailer, that's when you start questioning things, and in certainly no way negative towards these guys. But what I mean is questioning what's in game, what's out, what's in a cutscene that's touched up, what's not, because you see things that maybe exist within real-time trailers or real-time videos where somebody's actually playing the game, but you don't see it in a video cutscene trailer, which makes you then wonder if somebody didn't go back and touch something up, or if an effect was turned off, or even what platform something's on. Certainly nothing bad. It's just you notice it. And now it's time to talk about eye tech. It's so strange how many companies get eyes wrong. It's actually very difficult to do eyes. There's a translucency that needs to be there, but there's also that wet ocular surface. And if you don't have it, if you don't have both, then a character can really end up looking like a mannequin, dead eye kind of thing. And I think, for the most part, that they did a good job. We do see what, at least to me, looks like a little bit less detail when you see some of the in-game cutscenes. Not like this, where it looks like they've been touched up a little bit, but in some of those momentary splits inside of the game itself, especially in the main character. But that could just be the way, again, how it's filmed, because it depends on the camera closeness. Though here you notice it and you're far away or farther away. It's one of the reasons why I think there might be a chance that maybe it is a distance kind of thing, and that shader won't show up at particular distances. And I only bring it up because here you see a character that is also pretty well lit, and you don't see any indication of that. Even though it's not perfectly lit, you still would see a little bit of it. And funny enough, we see this mimicked as well at the starting of this trailer when they're inside the bank vault. So where the main character does have a little bit of eye shine, but the farther away doesn't. It's going to be interesting to see how these come together. And I love this moment here. It's like, eyes on target, eyes on target. Yeah, this is great. So many different shadows and lighting sources going on here. Really good effect, except for the bottle floating on the table behind him. So I just wanted to sit down and look at one of these, look at it from a technical aspect a little bit, but more from an artistic one. I did talk about some tech, but I don't want to go too in-depth into a lot of this other than maybe the differences in the cutscenes for them to sort of give us this holistic worldview to where you don't see much of a bounce between in-game cutscene, of course, major cutscene, and the gameplay itself. And I think that they did a pretty good job. Those things that we notice sometimes, once we see the actual game, they may or may not be in that title. It's one of those situations where you just have to look at these and sort of pick them apart because it's fun and because you like the idea of the game. It's not a negative criticism on anything or something like that. Also, hey, look, pre-order bonus, family kickback, whatever. I have to say, as I've been watching more of these trailers and sort of digging into them and looking at how they've handled everything, But for me, if there's any one thing I'm taking away from these, it's that their animation and collision detection is spot on. I love it. So anyway, thanks for joining. It was just fun to take a look at this title and see some of the different aspects, see how they're paying attention to some parts and maybe not paying attention to others, or see how just the graphics engine is going to display the title to sort of make all those different parts come together and feel like one holistic title. And that's what I'm super excited for. Everything about this game is starting to really interest me as we get to ramp up towards the end of it. And this last trailer did a really good job. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, thumbs down if you didn't, and peace out.